So I've been online, always looking at coffee content, and I'm very impressed with the fact that people are always finding ways to modernize brewing methods. However, I came across a video recently and it really piqued my interest. And the way this is done is genius, to say the least. So today we'll be using an espresso machine to make filter coffee. Let's talk coffee. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As I said a few seconds ago, today we'll be making filter coffee with an espresso machine. Let's say you've just thrown a fantastic dinner party. Everything's gone exceptionally well and everybody's wanting coffee at the end of it. After all, you are the weird coffee person, so it has to be done. You get orders for a cappuccino, a latte, a flat white, and then somebody says, I'll just have filter coffee please. And that doesn't seem like such a bad thing, until you remember you smashed your cafetiere last week, or you don't have a filter coffee machine, and all you can do is pour over. And pour over takes 10-15 minutes to do. People are going to be impatient. So what can you do to keep on top of everybody's orders whilst doing filter coffee? Well, you have an espresso machine, you might as well use it. The idea to make filter coffee through an espresso machine seems strange, maybe complicated, maybe unappealing, but it's actually very simple. And today I'm going to show you how to do it. We'll break this up into three parts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a filter style coffee with an espresso machine. Secondly, I'm going to do the same process but add another step and we'll learn a lesson with microparticles. And thirdly, I'll do a pour over and make a comparison between the two to see if it's actually worth doing. So how to make a filter style coffee with your espresso machine is very simple. It starts off with you making a cafe creme. Before we get into it, I want to stress, I hate cafe cremes. If you don't know what a cafe creme is, put simply, it's a long black style coffee, which means you're running lots of water through an espresso puck. And the reason why I don't like it is because it can create some very bitter notes. So I tend to stick with filter coffee and black Americanos. But we'll be doing one today to show you how the method is done. So what I'll do now is I'll make a cafe creme. I'll be pouring it off into a measuring jug and I'll be getting between hopefully 180 to 200 mils of yield. What's also worth noting is that I have slightly coarsened my grind because I'm hoping to get the 200 gram yield within 40 to 45 seconds. It's also a really good opportunity to use my brand new tamper I got on the Black Friday deals. I love this thing. That's all done, now we'll brew our coffee. And there you go, that's my not so pleasant cafe creme in my measuring jug, 200 mils. Now, saying this is filter coffee is strange because it's not really filter coffee because you've brewed it through an espresso machine. However, I would class it as filter coffee in a way because I'm pouring it into my V60, which is filter brewing. So I'll be filtering coffee. I won't be making filter coffee, I'll be filtering coffee, which is strange. But bear with me on this one. I'll be using this cup because it's nice and tall and it gives you a better idea of what's going on. So I'll take my filter paper, set it up in my V60 like I would for pour over brewing. And now I'm going to simply pour my coffee into the V60, like so. And as you can see, it's filtering through the V60. So what this is doing is removing the crema and any particles or grinds inside the coffee. Towards the end of this, the pour starts to choke. There's still liquid in the filter paper, but it's just gently dropping down. But the reason for this is because there's microparticles in the coffee. What these microparticles can do is create a bitter taste to your drink. So the idea is filtering this coffee through can make a clean cup. And now to finish the drink, I dilute it with some boiled water. Just like so. And I've made a filter coffee in half the time I would as a pour over. The question is though, does it taste okay? I gotta be honest with you, it's bloody nice. I was shocked when I first made one of these. I thought it was going to be garbage, but if I'm honest with you, it's great. It's lovely. If you want to pour coffee through a filter, you'd hopefully expect it to pour all the way through without any problem. But I was left with water still in the filter cone, which you can spill and it's irritating. So what you can do when you're brewing your espresso is use a espresso filter. So we're going to brew exactly the same drink again, but we are going to use the espresso filter when pouring the cafe creme. And we'll see if that makes a difference with pouring into the V60. Right, same again. Let's see if the espresso filter did what was intended. Hopefully the pour should just run straight through with no problem, or choking. And just like magic, it's ran through with no issues. So the fact of the matter is, these espresso filters work. They take out the microparticles and the uneven grinds in your brew, resulting in a cleaner cup of coffee. The question is though, does it taste any nicer? It's a much cleaner cup, it's less bitter as expected. So if this was a method you were thinking of doing, I definitely recommend using an espresso filter. But I think the question everybody is wondering is, how does it compare to a pour over? I'll now do a pour over coffee and I'll compare the two. Let it bloom. Very therapeutic. Ooh. We're almost there. Right, so there you go. These are the two coffees. This one is the pour over and this one is the espresso machine filter coffee. So I will try these now and I'll give my opinion on how they taste. I will be doing a cupping method. I do not have a cupping spoon, so I will be using a soup spoon, in case you were wondering. Let's go back to our old friend, the espresso machine filter coffee. Don't worry, I'll mute the slurps because it's disgusting. I get good coffee flavour through, a slight touch of bitterness. Obviously not as bad as the first one, but a nice drink. And now for the pour over. So what I found interesting was, obviously for the pour over the grind was coarser, and for this one the grind was finer. Obviously the pour over had more coffee in it compared to the espresso machine filter coffee. I found the pour over more bitter. I found there to be a tiny bit more complexity. However, I did find this one more bitter. Whether that's just my brewing method, I'm not too sure. But I think the diluting of the water in this one has benefited it with removing bitterness, and obviously the double filtering on this. So double filtering could be the key to a nice tasting drink, and the espresso machine could be the key to nice filter coffee. It's a time saver, it's a nice drink, and it was quite an enjoyable experience to make. I'm glad I turned the cafe creme, something I dislike, into something quite nice. I will be drinking the espresso machine filter coffee over the pour over. Of course, it's highly possible that I had to improve my pour over skills, but for today, I think this wins. Now, before I end the video, I have to give credit where credit is due. This video was heavily inspired by a video made by the one and only Lance Hendrick. I will leave a link to Lance's video in the description below because I think it's just brilliant. Lance goes on to talk about how it originated from Cafe Noma, and he dubs it the Nomacano, which I think is a brilliant name. I don't think it's the official name, but it's definitely a name that should stick because it's wicked. and I wouldn't be surprised if more people started brewing filter coffee this way, as it's a nice quick method of making the drink. However, if you don't want to watch Lance's video and rather stay on this channel, give this video a try, you might enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was very different, definitely an experiment worth trying out, and I hope you learned something about microparticles through it. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing today. If you didn't like it, please tell me in the comments below. I'm always keen to learn how to improve my content. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.